welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about men burn out too. Now I don't know if Wes is going to confess that he was burning out, but we're gonna take it back because I really want to share some insight on the trauma default breakthrough method, which I am revealing to the world this year. So here's the thing: I had to go out and prove it. Wes, you know how I do. I had to go out and prove it first. Now I got to spend a year to figure out how to talk about it because we've been getting results. We've been over here killing the game in the past 5 years. So Wes is on my team, y'all. So anybody who's on my team has to go through Vision Finder International, Vision Finder Masterclass, which is basically the trauma default breakthrough method. I was harassing Wes. Wes, do you remember why I was harassing you? Do you remember what I was saying to you or no? Because I bring the whole stuff.
I think you were saying, hey, you're not... Either you're not, I forgot how you voiced it. You're not being vulnerable or you're not going deep enough. And
no. Before you joined VFM, I was like, you're greater than you think you are.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. You're like, listen, you're doing great right now, but the next level, what I see in you, Wes, it's but you have to go through that border to get to it. And I'm like, what is this lady talking about? I'm like, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. What greatness, like, and it's when you're standing in the frame, it's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. And it's why it's so important to have people around you who see the best version of you, because I couldn't see that. But because of your teachings and your trainings, you were able to see, hey, like, man, your fifth gear is on the other side, but you got to go to that fifth gear.
Yep. So that was pretty much the thing is Wes, you're awesome. I was a part of a mastermind with Client Attraction University. And so Wes and I had known each other for years. And I'm like, Wes, you don't know how great you are. And he was like, I don't know what you're doing. I'm killing the game. And I'm like, yeah, but your childhood, when you're in the group with these men and they got childhood trauma, you ain't had that. Tell us about your experience. Go ahead.
So in the group, the coach kept talking about childhood trauma, and I was willing to submit to her teachings and her tutelage, and I kept saying to myself, well, all of these other guys, I'm sorry that they had a bad childhood, but I had an amazing childhood. There's no childhood trauma for me. I'm like, I grew up on a beach, drinking coconuts, eating fresh fruit, and I was like, there's no childhood trauma. And the coach kept insisting that I peel 2, 3, 4 layers back. And I remember you reaching out and saying, hey, your coach tells me that, Wes, you're not going deep. And I'm like, I don't want to start fabricating the story. I am going deep. I'm like, I had a good childhood. I mean, life was good. Life was good. I thought my parents were millionaires. I mean, life was good. And the coach was brilliant enough to say, okay, Wes, fair enough. You had an amazing childhood. All right, fair enough. Yes, you are the Huxtables. You grew up in Bel Air. You have no childhood trauma. Let's go a little farther up the scale. And that was the most important lesson, that if you live on this planet, you have trauma. Now, when you make your own planet, you can make your own rules. But here, there's trauma. And yes, mine was delayed, but I wasn't better than the other men in the group. I was not that prodigy that made it unscathed. I did have trauma. And when that trauma was placed in front of me, when that mirror was placed in front of me, I realized that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And that was the most transformational point. And that's when I began to excel in the program. That was the big domino. Oh, sorry.
All right, let's get to how we had to do it. Because you were, it's interesting because the hardest thing that I do is get high achievers to slow down. Point blank, period. Like I have to work with the will of the Lord to be able to get high achievers to slow down. Men are a little different because men, you had some stuff, but you weren't willing to recognize it. Other men that I talked to had some stuff, but they didn't want to admit to it. It was a whole like, oh my God, because here's the thing, Wes, which you already know. I've always done trauma default, always. Mm-hmm. I just had to market what people wanted, which was more money in their jobs, and then give them what they needed. Because once you see how great you are, you're easily going to make the money.
Yeah.
And I can teach people how to get jobs because that's what I've done. I'm the greatest in the game at it. I want to be 100% clear. But that's not the breakthrough to these multiple six figures and six-figure jobs. It's really about a lot of high achieving people are walking around with untapped potential because they don't have anybody who's brave enough or maybe crazy enough to be like, it's another level for you, right? Like that's my gift. And so for you, you were like, I don't know what y'all talking about. I think I talked to you 3 times, like alone, because I really wanted you to get the breakthrough. If you're going to invest your money with us when we had the program, you're going to get this breakthrough. When we started digging for it, I was like, okay, Wes, you ain't had nothing, you perfect. And the hardest person to work with, right? Because you have gone through therapy. You have done all the things. You are a highly personally developed person. Tell us about that, please.
Well, so yeah, I have done the inner work. And it's not so much because it was this out of necessity, but because I know how powerful doing the work and how much growth you are and the new person, the renaissance of Wes on the other side. So I had definitely done the work. But again, the problem or the trauma that the coach was able to pull out of me, and this is my personal situation, is because it was hidden. I thought I got through unscathed. I'm a highly developed person. To my cousins, I'm like a god. They're like, man, you're so, I'm hard on myself. I'm like, man, there's so many places, other levels I want to get on. But to some members of my family, like, dude, you are the GOAT of the family. And the coach was able to say, hey, yes, your trauma is over here in that little box with the bow that you had hid away for all these years and you thought it was gone. It's still here. Now, if you don't address this trauma, man, when it do addresses it, when you do have to address it, it's going to really wreak havoc. So I could only imagine what would have happened to me 4 years later, if it wasn't revealed to me.
So let's talk about how we got to it. Cause I remember,
I
remember where I was driving. I was driving somewhere. I don't know if I was in Texas. I was on some interstate doing 80 miles an hour, harassing you. I think I was in Atlanta. Okay. So for you, it was, all right, we can't dig for it. It ain't obvious. So I was like, all right, write down 6 of your trigger points, right? So trauma default is study your reaction. So if I can figure out what you're reacting to, then I had to connect the dots. So we had to go a little deeper and be a little bit more surgical with you. So it's like, all right, Wes, you're a cool dude. You don't really get that mad all the time. You don't really you're a level-headed guy. There isn't that much that you're going to react to, but I know you react to something. So I'm like, I need you to watch yourself, and whatever you react to, I don't know if you remember this. Kathy said my mind is like a steel trap. I don't forget nothing. So anyway, whatever you react to, Wes, write it down. I need 6. Do you remember that?
I remember that. I don't remember what were the 6 things, but I do remember the conversation.
Anytime a woman told you,
yes, yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah,
go
I was like, you gonna tell me to do? I'm like, I'm the man in this relationship. You telling me this is my house? I invited you into my castle. And you were like, oh, I think we got something. We got a nerve here. Oh,
went off, like go off. The cool dude turns into like somebody crazy.
I remember seeing you on the Zoom in the car. Like, hold on, let me pull over. This is about to be interesting. You went from the left lane to the right, 5 lanes. Oh, hold on, let me put my hair up in a bang. Can you see me still, Wes? Can you see? Yeah, I remember that. And you were like, I got him right there. And that was the beginning of me realizing that, man, here you are 30 years later. And this still got you like this? All right, what triggers you controls you. So that was the first point where you were like, and the thing is, the brilliant thing about what you did was that you showed it to me. You were like, look at this. Or have you considered this? Oh, she's dead. She's in her grave. But why does she have you triggered like that? And I was like, speaking to her like she's still here. Well, because they're my kids. Yeah, tell me about my kids. And you're like, Wes, take it easy. And was the beginning of the genesis of, dismantling that trauma and the hold they had on me.
All right, let's talk about it. It's so good. I couldn't wait. Actually, I mean, now that we're bringing the men up to step up to the bat, I forgot that I pulled over, which is hysterical. And then I had to sit in the car for like an hour and like, oh, we got something. Praise the Lord. We've been digging for this gold.
Yeah. And after that day, every other men's class on Mondays was a breeze then. It was a breeze.
So you didn't you were triggered when a woman tried to boss you. Why? So let's get to why. Why? Are you willing to share that story?
Well, yeah, absolutely. So the short version, long story short version was, so my former mother-in-law, quick synopsis is that we were supposed to get married and they were like, well, we want the wedding to be here in the hometown where my ex-wife was from, right? And I was like, nah. I went to school in Atlanta. Ex-wife went to school in at Tulane and at Xavier. So most of our friends were here, right? And most of our friends could not afford to fly back home. So we're like, we want the wedding here. About 6 months later, they're like, hey, we'll have the wedding. We'll pay for the wedding if it's here, and we'll pay for the honeymoon. I'm like, what? You're gonna pay for the honeymoon? All right, cool.
Where is here? Here
is back in St. Croix, the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
So flying to the Virgin Islands is not like flying to Jamaica. It's expensive. So they were like, we want the wedding to be in St. Croix. We're going to pay for it and the honeymoon. I'm like, sweet. All right. So then about another 6 months later, they're like, yo, we'll pay for the wedding and the honeymoon and give you guys some spending cash. I'm like, I'm sold. We'll have the wedding in Zamunda if that's what you need. So we got the wedding list. And I'm seeing about 5 people's name that I know. It's me, my brother, my mother, my father, 5. And I'm seeing like 105 other people that I don't know. I'm like, who are all these people? Oh, it's this is daddy's. It's gonna be a wedding / birthday party. At that point, I'm like, deal off. I'll pay for my own wedding. The wedding's in Atlanta. No deal. Now that one act started a vendetta because my ex-wife's mom was a cancer survivor. So she was not used to men or anyone telling her no. So the consensus in the family is like, hey, we don't know how much longer she's going to be here. So their goal and their mission was to constantly appease her. And so she got her way consistently. So now here is this new man coming into the family. He ain't even earned his rights yet. And he's telling the matriarch no. So you can imagine the vendetta that was created. And I was like, hey, look, I went to school here. Our friends went to school here in the continental United States. We're having a wedding here. And that was the vendetta that began, that she literally, from that point, she didn't come to the wedding, first of all, her only daughter's wedding. And then for the entire life of the marriage, I felt that it was strategic to destroy the marriage, where she would do stuff like Christmas. She would say, hey, my daughter can come with my granddaughter, but you can't come. And I was like, well, we're a family. And because my ex-wife at the time was so young, she didn't have the tools to push back to her mom and say, hey, look, this is my new family. If my husband can't come, we're not coming. So ultimately, until she passed, she did everything. And I'm talking about this because my ex-wife and I are on good terms now. So this is not slander or liable. We're in a good place. We have 2 adult kids. So this is not disrespecting her family. We're in a very good place. About 10 years ago, I wouldn't be able to have this conversation. So I want to let the women know that, hey, we're in a good place right now. But my ex-wife at the time she didn't have the tools to push back at her mother, to say in her emotional toolkit, to say, hey, mom, this is my new family. This is your granddaughter's father. If he can't come, we can't come. So I'm not offended of her. She just didn't have the tools or know how to do that. And for the life of the mother-in-law, she did everything in her power to ruin the relationship, which ultimately she did. So I grew up on the Cosby Show, Christy. I'm a Cosby kid, and I was told that if you follow this blueprint, go to school, went to HBCU, go to school, get the house, put the woman in the house, marry her. If you do those things, it's going to be successful. So when I did those things and it didn't work, it crushed me. It destroyed me. And having that Cosby Show as the template, the blueprint, I was so angry that one person had the power to take that away from me. And it was trauma. Like, it was a lot of fire there. I was like, the one thing I wanted was to have my family. And that was taken away from me. And it really, really, it was a lot of anger. And it's only after we started to unpack it, I realized, like, man, this lady's been in the grave and she's still holding space in your mind. So that was it for me.
You had no idea you was holding on to that.
Mm-mm.
I would love to say, Wes, I go down as the greatest ever to do it. But go ahead, listen. Like, what were you going to say? Were you going to say something before I continue to brag on myself?
No.
You had no idea that you were holding on to that. And so, because you've done the work, that was your thing, right? Like, I've done the work. I've gone through therapy. I got a problem. I go see a therapist. I'm personally developing. I'm like this. Well, if you knew how great you were, you would just be doing a little bit better right now. And you were doing great. I always think that there's another level. And you were like, I'm killing the game. And I'm like this, there is something else in there, right? Because I see people living in their fullest potential. And you thought you were, but even when I harass my clients, I'm like this, there's always another level. So after we unpacked that and you felt the fire and you acknowledged it, which we had to dig for it for weeks. When we finally got it, how did you release it? And then what happened after that?
So I don't remember the actions or the steps that the coach gave me to release it. I know I did some unconventional things that were not in the class. I did. It
was me. I'm the coach. But
I did. In addition to what you recommended, I don't remember. I did some other stuff for myself. I did a Japanese plate smashing, and I did some releasing stuff in the river, out in nature. But the biggest thing for me was, again, the acknowledgement of it. Once I acknowledged it, energetically, there was a blockage that was removed, because we met in a mastermind on marketing and building a business. So I'm very intentional about that. But
so you forgave her. That's pretty much what you did. Right?
Absolutely. I forgave her. And, the forgiveness is for me, not for her. So I forgave her. And immediately, energetically, after that, as intentional as I am about marketing and about growing my business, like, money was falling from the heavens, because I'm not sure what blockages that created, but I got gigs after gigs after gigs after new clients without doing any marketing, without doing any intentional reaching out or cold calling. I mean, it was just speaking opportunity after, and there was another way I could explain it except that, hey, there was blockages with that energy that I was holding on to. So that was the biggest thing. And I'm a lot stronger than I look. I look skinny right here, but I exercise is very important to me. And my fastest speed in college was a 6:15 for a mile. That was my 18-year-old slim cut up weight. And at 45, I got down to 6:45. So 30-second difference, 20 years difference in shape. So the time, again, there was weight in the blockage, and there was weight, literally physical weight, holding me back. So after that happened, that was that big domino, and things just began to just grow, like way past six figures, speaking engagement. And again, stuff was just coming automatically. I implemented the tap-in as well, and things just began to just, everything was in divine order. Everything began to fall into place.
The scripture says, create in me, Lord, a new heart and renew a right spirit in me. Okay. So, no, create in me, Lord, a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. And it's hard to clean out what you didn't forget. You just thought you worked through it. You were just unaware that you were holding on to it. Mm-hmm. And so forgiveness is so powerful. So I talk to so many people that are unwilling to forgive people. And I'm like, yeah, but that person is happy or gone.
Gone. Living their best life. They forgot what they did to you.
Don't. Money loves happy people. Money is energy. Money is currency, which is why, or that's why they call it currency. Money is energy. So if you're holding on to things, and you know that, Wes, because you're like the personally developed guy. You're like, I ain't holding on to nothing. I'm good. And I'm like this. It's something else. Once you found that, you was like, bet, that's all I need. And you went to work to let some of the things go. So somebody said they're searching for the plates. What were the plates that you did again? What was
the place?
You said some Japanese plates. What did you do?
Oh, so there's a Japanese concept of like releasing, where you would write, let's just say I had a problem with the boss, or I have a problem with forgiving Jackie. You would write Jackie's name and Jackie, you're forgiven, and you smash the plate. So it's a Japanese concept of letting go.
Just a white plate or a plate?
It's a white plate. Just take a white plate. It's almost like it's the same as the parallel to that is the leaf burning ceremony, where you would write someone's or something that's bothering you, and you would light it, talk to it, and release it to the same universe. So it's the same thing, same concept.
So money started to flow like milk and honey. You entered into the land, in the promised land where the grapes, 3 people got to carry them, and milk and honey, it flowed. Okay, great, money. But money is great. I like the money. I be telling people, we gonna get this money too. It ain't about the money, Wes. Money is easy when you're in flow. So you got in flow energetically. Speaking engagements came without you doing anything extra, without you spending more money on Facebook ads, without you marketing. People started to come to you, and then you ran your fastest mile at 45. You don't look 45. Let's say
I'm 47 now, by the way. I'm 47 now.
It's been 2 years. I know. Let's say I might look skinny right here, but I'm not. I'm gonna let y'all know I'm carrying. Don't make me take my shirt off. We're good on that. So but you ran your fastest, you ran your 18-year-old time.
Yep.
So there is so much spiritual and energetic weight connected to holding on to people that are never going to say they're sorry. And they might not be sorry.
They might not.
What advice do you have for men who are holding on to things that are no longer in their control? Because you're not just from I let this thing go that I didn't know, but you've seen a lot of people suffering. Like, it's a lot of people suffering right now, and they're suffering silently. What advice do you have for them from your personal development standpoint?
I would let men know. I'm gonna give you the cheat sheet right now. You're gonna get a lot richer, a lot faster, a lot healthier. This is a cheat sheet. So let it go, brother. Let it go. Let it go, because my default setting is an eye for an eye. I'm like, I was raised by, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. Like, so it was a learning. It took a lot of learning for me to learn to, no, you ain't got to swing back. Just let it go. Like, just let it go. Breathe and let it go. The energy it takes to hold on to a grudge, the energy it takes to, I'm going to be mad at her. How could he? How could she? How could they? That's energy. And the opportunity cost is taking you away from the next level. So there's opportunity costs there's a myth where individuals feel that if I do nothing, all things remain the same. No, there's this little energy called compounding interest. And we all know the law of inertia. An object at rest remains at rest. An object in motion continues in motion. You're continuing in motion in negativity. You're continuing in motion holding on to lack. You're continuing in motion going back in scarcity. If you just say, hey, I take the L, it's a loss. Yes, it wasn't my fault. Yes, it was out of my control. Yes, they walked out of me. Yes. Let it go and we begin to rebuild, because I wasted a lot of years. I could have been a lot richer. Could have had a lot more assets if I was to be like, look, people come and go. This is my path. People are going to walk on the path with me. And some are going to say, hey, I know I said I was going to be on this path with you. I want to go on this path. You wish them well, and you say, I still have to continue on my path. Some people are going to come, there's going to be another fork in the road and be like, hey, I know I promised I was going to be on this walk with you. However, there's a river down here on this path. I want to go on this trail, and realize that nothing is permanently. People are going to come and go, but you cannot wish them well, let them go. But don't hold on to it. You're doing yourself a huge injustice by trying to be like, well, they said they were going to be on the path with me the entire time. And they changed their mind. This path, your path, is your path. just let it go, man. There's so much more. And when you start living from abundance, at this stage in my life right now, when they leave, I'm like, I get excited. And I say they, I mean business as clients, relationship-wise, friends, family members, I mean all of them. Is that I operate so much from a law of abundance and expansion and growth now. When someone leaves, I started getting excited because I'm like, oh, the upgrade going to be so good. Like that client left. Oh, the new client that's coming. Oh, this friend left. This friend did you wrong. Oh, the new friend is going to be amazing. That's my advice. Let it go, man.
And before we wrap up, you may have just said it, but I want to ask the same question, but just in a different way. Like, what advice do you have for men who are navigating divorce? Because a lot of times people think that men are strong black men, supposed to be strong black men, but black men are broken too, or not. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. So it's almost like if you go through divorce, they think that y'all aren't going through anything. Like you suffered because you didn't want your kids. I remember you saying it. You didn't want your kids to grow up in a broken home. Like you didn't want that for your family. Like if anything destroyed you, it was that part. And then you had to, process that and let that go. But what advice do you have for men who are going through a divorce or are separating from their family and their kids? What advice do you have for them?
So it's a loaded question. First advice is get you a good attorney. Yeah, you don't want to go through. So I got a great attorney. I got Tony Braxton's attorney. So this was an area of my life I didn't want to cut corners. I was like, So I got Antavius Weems, who was Tony Braxton's attorney. It cost me $35,000 to keep my kids in Atlanta. I got spent on an old BMW, but it was worth it. So I did not want to penny pinch or cut corners in a situation that was the most valuable assets which was my kids. So I did everything in my power to be in my kids' life because I had my father in my life and great dad. And one of the reasons why I am who I am is because of my dad. So I did not want my kids being raised in a household where the family members on the whole did not like me because the language and the dialogue they were going to hear about their father was going to be untrue. And I wanted to be sure that they knew me personally. So get an attorney. And secondly, get a support circle. Your circle of influence of men should be men who have been through a divorce successfully. That was the first thing my older brother, Anthony McIntosh, he had went through a divorce and he won his kids. Like it was something that I never even knew was possible. He was like, man, I called him. He was like, yo, Anth, I'm thinking, she's going to take the kids out of the country. I don't know what to do. It's like, bro, you ain't going to, nah, I fought for my kids and I won. I was like, what? He was the first man that I knew that he gave me hope. So surround yourself with a group of men who know it's possible and give you the support. You're going to need the support. It's common for men to act tough and suffer in silence. Don't do that, man. This is one of the biggest events in your life. And you don't want to cut corners in regards to getting the help that you need, but you also need that emotional support because it's going to be rough. I felt so helpless because I wanted I didn't want to be a hypocrite. How can you tell your kids to believe in the family and believe in the household and rebuilding the black community and all that, and then it didn't work for you? So I didn't want to be a hypocrite, and I felt I was so helpless. Like, why can't you see, like, this can't be fixed? Are you kidding me? You're going to let your mother who's happily married destroy our marriage? Like, what's wrong with you? And even in therapy, I learned that a lot of what I learned in my therapy is that my kid's mom, my ex-wife, was adopted. So the therapist said, hey, Wes, this is kind of a losing battle for you because people who are adopted, they naturally swim in the direction of the adopted family. That's their new default. So here it is, you've been married for 3 years, and she has a family that has been with her since she was a child. So they got 22 years, and you got 2 years. The therapist said there is no way you can beat 20 years to your 2 years. She's always going to swim in the direction of her adopted family. And that's what she did, because what the therapist said, people who are adopted, they almost have a subconscious debt to the family. Because here it is, my biological parents didn't want me, and this family took me in. It's hardwired into their DNA. Like this, I'm going to always be indebted. I'm always going to swim, and I'm always going to see this as the source of inspiration and the source of peace for me. So the therapist helped as well, letting me know that this is a battle you could not win, even if you wanted to. She is going to swim in the direction of her adopted family. They have 20 years. You got 2. You can't win. And that gave me some help as well, and release.
All right, sir. Well, I so appreciate you jumping on here today and sharing your story with us and sharing your insight. One, I am so proud of you, because I do like to be right. But but you are exceptional. I just know that there's always another level for us. And so my goal was just to help you get it, even though we had to dig for it and had to harass you to get it. But one, I'm proud of you. I am so grateful to know you. I'm grateful that you are on the team of Vision Finder International. And we're going to bring up Jay Lopez. So
I want to say one last thing, Christy.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Highlight, how, because oftentimes when someone selects a coach or a consultant, it's a 50% chance that they're going to be able to execute on what they promise. The thing is, and the power of what you were able to do is, because you do this for a living, you were able to see what we couldn't see. Like, there's a concept of you don't know what you don't know. Because you do this every day. Like, I've heard you in our morning huddle say, yeah, that lady has this lady has this. And I'm like, how was she able to see that? And you're like, look, I know what it looks like, Wes, because it was me when I was living on my brother's couch. Like, you can't hide from me. I know, lady, you glow in the dark because I was you. So having a coach that has done it, has been through it, and can show you how to highlight it, I think that's a superpower from you. So kudos to you and what you built.
Well, what's interesting is when I said I'm the coach, right? This guy is because I had 7 coaches. A lot of people didn't know I had a team of 15. They thought Christy Rutherford is just me on a laptop getting all this money. It's like, no, I had a team of 15 people and 7 coaches. So Wes was working with Celestine, who is amazing. And then I come in as the, hatchet woman or whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm coming in to be the cleanup woman. To be like, all right, what are we missing?
The shake-up woman. Like, Celestine, he lying. Get over here, Wes. I'm going to pull over on this freeway. I'm going to choke you, Wes.
We're going to get it.
I'm like, okay.
We just go, Celestine's on. She said, hey, y'all. So Celestine is proud of you well, but the guy was like, I'm the coach. Like, no, there were 2 different conversations that were going on. So anyway, thank you so much. And I put my trauma default link in the chat if y'all want to figure out what's your reaction to your trauma default. And basically your trauma default pattern is what's the pattern that you're caught in. And once we figure out how you're reacting, then we can reverse engineer of what the problem is. So again, Wes, thank you so much. You're awesome.
Hey, thank you so much.